Thought about that. I think May was the target date for the stadium deal, so I got an opinion about that.
Let's get it done. How about that? That's my opinion.
Right now, I'm locked into Pirates A's on my iPad.
Are you guys going to get swept by the A's? Did I see that?
Yeah,
or
we're 2-10 of our last 12.
Oh,
I think we are. Let me tell you what good baseball is.
Today may be the first day, JJ, you see him throw this thing.
Yeah. I'd leave that door shut, JJ. Let me tell you what's fantastic baseball. Two outstanding teams. The announced attendance yesterday. Announced.
This is in Oakland.
Yeah. The announced.
2,500?
3,100. Wow. Announced.
Yeah.
JJ, that's announced.
Usually they lie, give you an extra 4,000 to 5,000.
I'm guessing there was 850, 900 in the place.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, pretty amazing, isn't it?
I mean, it's what would you I mean, other than the fact that it's a Major League Baseball game, I mean, the ownership of the A's has treated their fan base so miserably.
And
why would you give the guy $1?
And the other thing is this. Baseball's always had the messed up salary system. We've all known that. But now because the money is so, it's one thing if one team can only spend $60 million and the rich teams are all spending $160 million, right? It's $60 million versus $160 million isn't a very good fight. But if one team can spend $60 million and the other team's spending $300 million, so every year the gap's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's just what baseball's going to do. So we'll see. But 3,100 announced. I mean, a major league sports team in any sport, if you announce 3,100, shouldn't they leave that day? Rather than leave next year and go to Sacramento, just leave that day.
It's a complete embarrassment, and I feel bad for the Oakland players that they're caught up in it. I do too. Their dream has been to play in the big leagues, and you get there, and you're playing for a farce owner.
Right. Some of those guys will be getting to play in Vegas, though.
Yeah,
which will be badass. They'll pack the house.
That's
It'll be a new stadium.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, but I bet the A's got a lot of young players. Though.
Yeah, you're right. Some of them.
It still
They're
stinks
a minor league
compared
team.
to
that's right.
other ball clubs and their situations. Yeah. And, just to follow up, Frank, on your point, Oakland is dead last in payroll. This is according to SpotRack.com.
Shocked by that.
Yeah, $63.3 million. That is $20 million less than everybody else.
Yeah, $20 million less than everybody. And who's at the top? What's the top?
The top, it's got to be the actually, that's surprising. It's the Mets.
Yeah.
$308.3 million.
Ohtani makes more than the entire roster of the A's.
So one team's spending.
So does Rick Mailer.
Love Rick Mailer. One team's spending 308, another team's spending 60. Well, you can't have a sport that way.
Yeah,
you can't really.
And amazingly, they don't go like 20 and 142.
Right.
I mean, they'll find their way to
70 wins.
Yeah,
60 wins. Yeah. So
to be fair, the Rays win the AL East all the time. The Yankees haven't won a World Series in over a decade. Right. The Dodgers have only won one World Series in 30-plus years, and it was a fake World Series. Like, I get your point. You want spending to be more equal, but that doesn't necessarily mean the bet. Like we have in the NFL, the same team wins every year. We have basically the exact same teams in the Final Four almost every year. Like, if you have a great quarterback, you're going to be doing really well. It doesn't matter about the finances. In baseball, because you have a minor league system, the Rays can still compete.
But
I get that the Pirates suck, but you guys could be the Rays.
But the reality is, and I've said this many times on this show, first time you'll hear me whine about it, the Rays are such an outlier that they give people the false impression.
I mean, the Diamondbacks went to the World Series last year.
And they were middle of the pack with salary, by the way. And look, the Royals won it one year. Okay?
Exactly.
But
we've had a different winner every single year for 25 years.
Right, but the playoff teams are usually about the same. That's the point. It's impossible. Again, how many World Series teams have ever won it in the last 30 years? Won the World Series with a lower third payroll. The Royals won. One. So the truth of the matter is, it doesn't work. The Rays, God bless their souls, have convinced people that it can work. And by the way, they're in last place now. Okay, so it can't.
I just look at leagues with the salary cap, and it's the complete opposite of baseball. It's the same teams that win every year.
Yeah, and I'm not saying everything's going to be parity's going to be great, but you know as well as I do that half the baseball teams every year are not going to be able to be competitive for reasons beyond their control. Football, look, if everybody else has equity of spending, they're probably getting it right. If it's the only sport that doesn't have it, the only sport that they're probably not news bulletin. If you're the only one doing it, you're probably doing it wrong. So anyway, 3,100 here for this outstanding Pirates athletics.
I honestly wonder, like, if you just walk up and will they stop you from just walking in?
Probably not. They probably laid off the ticket takers.
Right. I mean,
there may be more. It says it takes about 350 people to put on a professional game. There's probably about that many. It's probably one person per fan.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's amazing stuff.
It's not good.
All right, a lot of things to get to today. I do want to talk about the stadium deal. I'm hoping there's a city council meeting in the middle of May. There's one every other Tuesday, and I wouldn't be surprised if May 14th, the meeting on May 14th, you hear something.
Good.
I would be surprised.
I'm ready.
If you don't hear details of a presentation being made. Now, I don't know that the council, it may not work out that way. I would like to think that on the May 14th meeting, okay, the May 14th get-together, which is, 2 weeks from yesterday, I would like to think that there will be a public framework of what the team and the mayor's office is presenting to the council. That's 2 weeks out.
Be great.
Now again, that's not. No one said that. I could be wrong.
Right.
But I would like to think we are that close. Now again, maybe I'm wrong, but I would like to think within 2 weeks of yesterday, there's a city council meeting, and I think it's about time, and I hope we get to that.
Yeah, I think we will. I have every confidence of that. You reflect back to last summer when Mark Lamping was conducting the town halls that the new administration had suggested would be a good idea. And it was a good idea, and I think that was very well received. The Jaguars, Mark Lamping, made sure to hit every neighborhood, and did a fantastic job with the presentation. So when we were talking about it then, the timeline was April, and now we're just barely into May. So it certainly it seems like it's time. And, you want to get it done. Look at where the Chiefs are right now. The Chiefs are now having to come up with alternatives to a renovated Arrowhead Stadium because their city leaders, moronically, put it towards a public ballot, which is, we've talked about at great lengths. Anything that's in the world of entertainment, culture, anything like that you put to a public ballot, it will always fail because there's just nothing in the realm of entertainment or culture that 51% of the public likes. It's just how it works. So entertainment, sports, all that stuff, culture, it's niche. There's a certain amount of segment of your population that enjoys it. And in looking at it, it is time to do it. You don't want to get in a situation that the Chiefs are in because they're now talking about, they're like, well, we're 6.5 years out, but we're getting close. I mean, we need an alternative, which is why they're now negotiating with a whole different state, Kansas, about possibly a stadium build there. So it needs to get done. I have every confidence it will. I think everything is lined up very, very well. I think this administration took over a very positive situation, and the Jaguars, we know, are certainly motivated to get it done and be here and continue to invest in Jacksonville.
I think this too. We're gonna go through. I've always told you this. We're gonna go through the litany of pushback. Every city. I'll say it again. Every city has this. There's the civic groups that don't care about sports, that don't want to see taxpayer money spent on a sports facility. That group is going to rear its head. Then there's the local columnist, the political columnist, not just Jacksonville, any city.
Right.
The local columnist is going to say, how dare we have this much taxpayer money go to a football team when we need sewers. That's in every city.
Right.
In every city, the local college is going to do a survey of whether the people want it, and the survey is going to say people don't want it. Because anytime you do a referendum, the people that don't like sports aren't going. So we're going to go through. So those steps are coming again. The pushback from the civic group, the political columnists that don't want it, and the local university that does the survey. They're all three coming again. It's a new cycle.
No, I mean, surprisingly, their wave, in my opinion, has been very small throughout this whole thing.
I agree.
So my hope is that continues because I don't get a sense there's been this great public backlash.
I agree.
To it. Yeah. And my hope is I get what you're saying. As you get closer to it, all those things are going to potentially bubble back up.
Yeah.
But again, this is an investment for 25 years. It's not a one-time you're paying this fee and that's it. This is something that you're going to enjoy for 25 years. I mean, if you want Jacksonville to remain, even have the chance of remaining a city of consequence in this nation, and certainly a city that's got potential to grow even further and enhance its reputation, then you've got to have the NFL here. It's just that's all there is to it.
Yeah, so my guess is you'll see something this week. We'll see what winds up happening. So we'll talk about that. We've got Sports and Courts coming up in about 5 minutes. Interesting stuff. The Reggie Bush was given his Heisman back. Did you see where, though, he's not backing off his lawsuit against the NCAA?
Nor should he.
Nor it's going to be I'm really interested to hear what Brett says about that. As we do Sports and Courts once a week, and we look at legal issues in the world of sports, and Brett does such a good job from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. I really want to see what his take is on can Reggie Bush win the thing? It's a defamation case, and he's accusing somebody at the NCAA of defaming him when asked a journalist question. Before we get to Brett, what do you think? What do you think about the fact that the case is still that he's not backing off the case?
Well, I haven't seen what was said, so it'd be hard for me to comment on that. I'll certainly give it a look, but I mean, so defamation is different than just is he suing to get money back that really should be back pay to him. He's going to get the money back. So I'm not going to comment on the defamation because I don't know what was said. But in terms of the back pay, Reggie Bush is going to get paid. I mean, when this deal is done, when the NCAA mediates this litigation to its conclusion with basically what's going to be the players' union of college football, there is going to be billions in this for players exactly like Reggie Bush, who are going to be, determined in that case to have been wounded financially by not being able to capitalize while all the schools were making money hand over fist. So Reggie Bush is getting ready to get a lot of pay back. It may not equate, though, to what he would have made had he been able to keep the Heisman, had not gone through the public scandal. And again, he did break the rule at the time, but now as this issue has greatly evolved, you look back on it and say, well, yeah, he was, if this is where we're going to end up now in 2024, then Reggie Bush is certainly owed some money.
Yeah, so we'll see what winds up happening. Sad news in the world of sports. Marcus Altson, known as the Rooster, the Florida State quarterback who had to step in when Chris Weinke got hurt, led them into the national championship game, didn't win the game, lost to Tennessee, but beat the Gators, beat Wake Forest, really did a pretty good job as a guy that had limited ability. Didn't he come here and play on one of the semi-pro teams here in Jacksonville, I want to say. Mm-hmm. But Marcus Altson died way too soon today. He died of what his son said was an immune deficiency in order, a very rare one. But that's sad. I mean, he's a guy. You remember in 1998, the Rooster was good now. And I think he played on I want to say he played here in Jacksonville in the arena.
Would that have been the Tomcats?
I think so. I might be wrong about that, but I want to say I'll look it up and see. But anyway, it's very sad.
Very sad because he's in his 40s.
Yeah, and really well respected.
Great family man.
And real respected in the Seminole family. I mean, there's a guy that Chris Weinke, who Heisman Trophy winning national championship later winning quarterback, couldn't play. And the Rooster stepped in there, and he beat Florida. He beat a good Florida team.
Yeah, he played well against Florida.
Yeah, that was the fourth ranked. That was the fourth ranked Gators. That wasn't today's Gators.
Right.
He beat the fourth ranked Gators 23-12.
And we've talked about all the talent that was on that Tennessee national championship team.
Team.
That was an NFL defense.
It was an NFL, no question. It was almost every player.
Right.
Almost every player in that Tennessee defense played in the NFL. So you're exactly right about that. But Marcus Altson, very sad.
That is very sad.
Dead of a very rare immune deficiency disorder. And a very good player for Florida State when they needed him most. Certainly, that's for sure. So we've got a lot of things we'll get to today on the program. I want to talk about blue blood programs. Something interesting happening with coaching jobs. I'll get to it later in the program, Hays. But it's interesting that Kentucky had to hire Mark Pope. Now, he might be good, but it's Kentucky. Alabama had to hire Kalen DeBoer. Now, maybe Kalen DeBoer is this really good coach, but Alabama had to hire someone 2 years ago nobody ever heard of. Kentucky had to hire someone 2 weeks ago nobody had ever heard of.
I still couldn't identify him if he walked in here.
Yeah, I mean, so the world's changing. I mean, back in the day, Kentucky basketball and Alabama football, you would think could pick their coach and say, listen, you're leaving this school because we're hiring you. Now get your bags packed. Now it's hard even for them. It's really, I mean, think of it. It's an interesting dynamic of how the blue blood world is changing.
The Kentucky one especially, because I would say with DeBoer, it was still the talent pool in college football coaching, to me, doesn't seem nearly as strong and deep as the world of college basketball. And, Alabama does go get somebody who at least, I mean, he played for the national title last year. So, he's a young guy. And so while his resume isn't extensive, and I do think this, if Dabo Swinney had embraced the portal and Clemson was still operating at a very high level, I think he'd have been the coach.
Yeah,
and then it would have been, well, of course Alabama goes and gets one of the best 2 or 3 coaches in the country in Dabo Swinney. But if you're Alabama, you can't touch him.
And maybe
because he hasn't adapted yet.
And maybe NIL is what is changing this. Because you're right, 10 years ago Alabama would have hired Dabo Swinney and we move on.
Right.
And so it's interesting stuff. We'll talk about that. But there's a lawsuit out there from Reggie Bush. JJ, fired up.
Now time for Sports in Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
Brett Hastings joins us now. Brett, how are you, buddy? Good to talk to you.
I'm doing great. It's too nice outside for us to all be working.
I know. It is. I was out much of the day today. Beautiful day today. You're exactly right. So
Does this work for us?
Good point. But Brett really does work.
He's
got like a real job.
Yeah.
Got a real job.
Yeah. Just make it worse, guys. Yeah.
Hey, Brett, I think the Reggie Bush thing is really interesting. You and I connected on it earlier. It's a really interesting story for me. You would think, or I would have thought, once he got his Heisman Trophy back, that the lawsuit would be over that he has against the NCAA. But it's not. Explain to us why it's not and what the crux of this lawsuit is.
You got it. So Bush sued the NCAA in an Indiana court because last year in August, representatives from the NCAA were speaking, and a journalist literally asked him and said, will the NCAA revisit its treatment of Reggie Bush, given the fact that the NCAA has acquiesced to allow, name, image, and likeness payment and all the changes in the state's laws? And the NCAA, through their spokesperson, and whenever the spokesperson goes out and speaks, something that everybody should know, that binds, the company. Right? And so the spokesperson said, NCAA rules still do not permit pay-for-play type of arrangements. So Reggie didn't like that. He sued him, claimed it was defamation. We've had a lot of defamation lately, but remember, libel is written defamation. Slander is spoken defamation. So this would be the NCAA speaking these things out. Now, as we all know, with Reggie Bush, his issues came out of the fact that there were alleged payments, and he received payments by people trying to be his agents and to go to the NFL, right? And so there wasn't evidence that he was being paid by USC and Pete Carroll and other boosters. Now, at the end of the day, he has filed this lawsuit. He's paid the lawyers, and next week there's a motion to dismiss. So, here we had all this happen with the Heisman Trust, and I think that probably came a little bit out of left field and quicker than anything he thought, would happen. At this point, you paid the money with the lawyers. I think you want to see what's going to happen. I would think he'd survive the motion to dismiss, right? I just don't think there's a lot in the way of damages in this case. I think what the NCAA said was technically not true, but I think any damage that he would have would still be from the fact that he took money from agents, and that would be hard to prove.
Is defamation about the hardest thing to prove?
It depends, right? We have, when we have really clear things, it can be easy to prove, right? You call someone a pedophile, a drug addict, other things like that, and it can dispositively be proven. Maybe the easiest would be to say so-and-so is a convicted felon, and they're not, and you prove that they're not. And then, then we get into the damages. You're wrong on the statement. When things are defamatory per se, you can get a nominal damage, like $1 to prove that you're right. But most of the time, if you're going to go and get lawyers involved, or you're going to spend the money for the litigation, there's got to be real damages. Somebody said you were a felon. As a result, you lost out on a huge multi-million-dollar contract. Okay. You could, tie that up and to do it. So with defamation, it's tough if you don't have that very clear, easy-to-prove statement. And then it's always going to be tough because the damages can a lot of times be relatively speculative. So there's kind of two components to it.
So, Brett, because I'm interested in that too. If apart from the specifics of this case, if a person, a columnist or a media member or someone said that guy's a criminal, and what he's saying is, well, he stole money because he was a lousy player and he got paid hundreds of millions. He said he's a criminal he's stealing the money. Well, he means it as a figure of speech, as opposed to if someone really accused someone of stealing money and it was proven that he didn't. So
right.
Does that
truth is always the defense.
The truth, correct. So if you accuse someone, if you call someone a criminal and he's been convicted, I can see where that guy doesn't have a case. What if a columnist in a big city newspaper called Joe Blow a criminal? He stole that money because he made $100 million and never got a hit. Could he be sued for saying that or no?
Absolutely. And if Joe Blow is a normal person, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be easier. And then, as we had talked about before, if he's someone that's in the public sphere and he's a public figure, then there's a little bit more leeway, right, as far as them going in to go do it. But that's where context matters. And then it comes back to really what we were talking about with Hays. Are you a convicted felon or not? That's something relatively easy to prove, you know what I'm saying, and to ascertain. So if you run with the story, say that the person's a convicted felon, blah, 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 and then you can go and you can definitively prove that the person is not, right, then that's going to be a clear, easy, straightforward way to be able to prove that the person was, in fact, defamed,
Right. The NCAA is involved in so much litigation, Brett. Would it make sense in this regard to just say, why are we still pursuing or involved in this? Why don't we just go ahead and concede what Reggie Bush wants us to concede and just be done with it? Or if they do that, are they subjected to a potential hefty amount of damages?
I don't think there's a whole lot in the way of damages here, and I think there's going to be a point in the continuum where Reggie's not going to want to continue to spend money for something that's very speculative, and there probably isn't a return. I think the NCAA, you're right. I mean, like, how many lawsuits do they have going on right now, right? And ones that are like almost.
I think even Hall & Oates is suing the NCAA.
It's probably going to win, right? But at the end of the day, yeah, I think they would like to see this get resolved. They're at a point procedurally where, they're going to see what happens in the motion to dismiss. Will the judge throw it out? Most likely that's not going to happen for, a lot of times they're just cleaning up the procedures right here. What we were talking about was going on in Tallahassee. I think at the end of the day, you're going to see sort of like a letter of apology type of a thing, something that Reggie can kind of, go around and, put up the principal flagpole, and you'll see the end of this. I don't see there ever being a judgment for any considerable amount of money, as I think it's going to be hard to be able to prove that for damages. And I also think that, Reggie's not going to want to keep spending money, and obviously this isn't very high priority for the NCAA, but they've got so much going on from a litigation standpoint. This is one they'd just like to see done and resolved.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Brett Hastings, great work as always. That is Sports in Courts. Brett is from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Great work, Brett. Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you guys. Take care.
All right, we got a lot more to talk about today on the program. We're going to talk a little bit about the fact that Blue Bloods have changed. I want to talk about that. The Iceman, huge game tonight, by the way, if you follow local hockey, and they've gotten quite the following now. Huge game. I'm going to try and drag my friend Taylor Dahl in here to kind of give us a little bit of a preview of that. Did you see the Rays-Braves fight last night? I mean, the Rays-Brewers fight last night? Mm-hmm. Did you see it, JJ?
I did. I saw this morning.
It was one of the strangest It's one of the strangest fights the way it started that I've ever seen.
I thought the same thing.
It wasn't like a guy gets hit, he charges the mound like we see all the time.
Yeah. It happened at first base, which is odd there.
The pitcher walked over to first after, the guy pimped a home run beforehand.
Yeah, right.
And then later on they hit him, which is normal. Yeah. And then when he's at first, the pitcher's sort of chirping at him and he chirps back, and then the pitcher swings a wild right and misses completely.
With an open hand.
Siri, the hitter, said that he kind of shouldered him. She shouldered him.
Which didn't even really show up on the video.
The pitcher came over to cover first. The Siri said he kind of shouldered him.
I didn't see that.
And the Siri, the Rays guy explanation was, I said, why'd you do that? He said, because I felt like it. and they stared at each other. Then Macho Guy. Then they both became Macho Guys.
Feel free to land a punch.
Yeah,
by the way.
by the way,
they were like 0 for 17.
Classic baseball fight.
Typical baseball fight. Baseball guys have no idea how to fight. No idea how to fight.
Except Kyle Farnsworth.
Yeah, he's the only one ever.
Yeah.
He's the only
one.
And Nolan Ryan.
Yeah. Nolan Ryan is right. So I will take a break. We got a lot more to do. Glad you're with us. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Feel the thrill of live NASCAR play-by-play.
Way up high to block Ryan Blaney.
Sunday at Kansas. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234 on your NASCAR station. 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and it's the perfect time to elevate your game with MyBookie. With MyBookie, you can bet from anywhere, anytime, so you never miss a shot to cash in on a play. You can even live stream and bet on the games right from the sportsbook, giving you everything you'll need to decide. Cash out or let it ride. MyBookie really makes it easy to get paid with tons of boosted props and slam dunk parlays. And new boosts are now posted on the daily. It's more than just a sportsbook. Buzzer beaters, underdog upsets, and a community to share in all of the sweats. Give yourself a head start today and play with house money using 1010XL as a promo code when you make your first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to claim a limited time bonus when you sign up and make your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Imagine a complete one-stop shop for all your company's technology needs. A Jacksonville business who keeps their customer service local, so you never get outsourced to a distant call center. When your company is ready for faster support for managed IT services, voice-over IP phone systems, or access control, discover why so many business owners select Total Business Systems. Call 604-6900, 604-6900, or jacksitexperts.com.
Frank Frangie here. Bono's Pit Barbecue is celebrating 75 years of serving up legendary barbecue on the First Coast. And right now, get to Bono's for the new loaded barbecue tater tots. That's smoked pulled pork on top of tater tots with melted cheddar cheese sauce. You won't find this anywhere else. 18 Bono's around town. There's always one nearby, and you can see all the locations at bonosbarbecue.com. Remember, the Bono's Barbecue Tater Tots right now at Bono's. And if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hey, it's Matt Hays, and you know you've heard this before. Why is it so hot in this house? Well, summer's already here on the First Coast, and those soaring temperatures can do a number on our ACs. This is where the good folks at Fenwick Home Services have you covered. Fenwick offers same-day 24/7 service, and if you need a new AC because yours is on its last leg or already broken, Fenwick has next-day installation. That's right, next day, and can keep your family cool and comfortable all year long. Book online now at FenwickHomeservices.com. That's FenwickHomeservices.com, and stay cool and comfortable all year long.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 23rd.
1010XL keeps you company with sports takes and local talk.
Well, then that's exactly what we'll do.
Saturday from noon to 2.
Got any ideas who this mystery man might be?
It's Compton and Company.
What if word about this gets out?
On 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
If you've played sports or still lead an active life, chances are joint pain is nothing new. This is Dr. George Barry of Barry Orthopedics, and we like to be your option when it comes to taking care of your body and getting back in the game. From shoulders to elbows to hip and knee pain, Barry Orthopedics can diagnose and treat a variety of injuries that are causing you pain. We are Barry Orthopedics and online at barryorthopedics.com. With more than 30 years of experience, our team is here to care for your entire family.
Find out more at barryorthopedics.com. That's BAHRI orthopedics.com.
Get recruiting tips and advice from area coaches, pros, athletes, and their parents. Plus better ways to train as B3 bettors Jerry and Sanders and A.D. Roberts host the Amateur's Edge Show. Saturday from 11 to noon on 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. We've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler for 47 years. And this Mother's Day, we'd like to help you celebrate Mom with up to 40% off our entire inventory. GIA certified diamonds, beautiful colored gemstones, designer brands, custom jewelry design. And Monahan Jewelers offers interest-free financing on any purchase. So get something special with a payment you can afford. Come celebrate Mom with fine jewelry at up to 40% off at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, is home all week at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. Tonight is ViStar Good is Everywhere Wednesday, followed by Coors Light Thirsty Thursday with beer specials. Then it's Red Shirt Friday with day games on Friday and Saturday. The first 2,000 fans get a free bucket hat Saturday, courtesy of Miller Electric. Tickets start at just $5. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to website CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
Warm weather means the beach, fishing, golf, and more. Make sure to drop into Daly's and grab a cold case to go. From Bud Light to their seltzer, from Mick Ultra to Modelo, or your favorite crafts like Bold City or Sweetwater. Grab and go at your local Daly's.
Now that's what I call high quality H2O. If you want high quality water throughout your home, call your local water boy. We install equipment to solve any water problem. Waterboy, JAX.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
Since JJ fired up, let me remind you that the Doobies are coming in about 2 months. You're like a new Doobies fan.
It's a fun show. Absolutely.
They're coming, I think it's July 8th. I'll be at that one. Right.
Yeah.
Just okay, you want to know? Just so you know that. Yeah. The Doobies are coming. I freaking can't. Well, I love the Doobies. Man, gosh, I love them. It is a Ricketts Electric Wednesday. We sure appreciate our friends from Ricketts Electric, Zach Ricketts and all the good folks there. Call them at 904-320-5960. You can find them on Facebook. They're all over the place, and that's the new name, man, and electricians in town, Ricketts Electric. They do a great job. They've helped us at our home. They came out and brought the crew out last week. I had a few things to do, and they did it in no time. They're great to work with, too. Even gave me some new ideas on a little podcast room we have at the house. Also, they did all the work at the Bragan Baseball Complex, and they're fantastic. Ricketts Electric, the number is 904-320-5960. My friend Taylor Dahl from Helmets and Heels is going to join us around 5 o'clock.
Oh, good.
To really preview the Iceman. The Iceman, that's a big deal. I'm telling you, more and more people really like the Iceman, go to see them. Andy Kaufman, who owns it, he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Bob Arabalo, who's run that thing for him over there. It's a really good group. I mean that very sincerely. They're good at what they do. And Taylor knows them as well as anybody I know, so she'll be in here top of the hour. And we'll talk a little Iceman.
Andy Kaufman, I never took him for a hockey fan.
Andy Kaufman, the Andy Kaufman who owns the Iceman is, honest to God, one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. I mean that very sincerely. And the other Andy Kaufman was one of the funniest people I ever saw in my life. So
very strange.
Yeah, very strange, but very funny. Strange and funny. So, so good luck to the Iceman tonight. So Taylor will be in to talk about that coming up in just a bit. So, yeah, back to my Blue Bloods comment just for a second. Florida State, where Bobby Bowden coached, had to go find some guy from Memphis named Mike Norvell. Now, it turned out he's fantastic, and it was a great hire. But they had to find this guy from Memphis that was good, but nobody knew how good. I don't think they did. It turned out to be a great hire. The University of Florida, for a while there, the blood was as blue as it got. That's where Spurrier and Urban Meyer roamed the sideline and won 3 national titles between them. They went and hired coaches from Colorado State, Louisiana, and a defensive coordinator who hadn't been a head coach. I mean, the Kalen DeBoer, you're right. He was in the tournament, and almost won the thing. I know that. But 2 years ago, nobody had heard of the guy. It's not like he was being groomed at Clemson and LSU and Michigan waiting his turn to get the Alabama job. He's from one of the Dakotas and had been coaching in the Pacific Northwest, and then he just kind of came. I'll be honest with you. I mean, completely honest here. I follow college football as close as anybody, I think. Hays, a year ago now, last year, May 1st last year, if you'd have asked me who the Washington coach is, I don't think I could have told you. I might have had a thought about it because I knew Jimmy Lake had been there, and he replaced Chris Peterson, and we all knew about Peterson. But I knew it was Peterson. I would have thought, wait a minute, Jimmy Lake, Peterson left, and Lake got the job, but Lake didn't do very well, and now they got a new guy. Would you have been able to tell me?
No.
I wouldn't have been able to tell you. I would have told you, if you'd asked me last May 1 of 2023, who's the Alabama coach, I said, remember Peterson's gone?
The Washington coach.
The Washington coach. Who's the Washington? Peterson's gone, and it's Jimmy Lake, and they have some new guy. It's not the South Dakota. I wouldn't have known. Now he's the Alabama coach. If you would have asked me 3 weeks ago who Mark Pope was, I would not have been able to tell you. I could not have told you that Mark Pope was a coach at Brigham Young. And I mean, we're in this business. So I just think that part seems to have changed for me. And maybe NIL's why. Maybe coaches aren't as quick to leave. What got me thinking about this is when Danny Hurley said today, they asked him, did you consider the Kentucky job or would you have? He said, not in a million years. And Hays, I don't think that's a shot at Kentucky. That's a shot. And again, he's at a burgeoning blue blood that's won a bunch of titles and back-to-back. I understand that. But you get the point. The point is, I don't think guys are jumping to leave these jobs as they once were. I guess that's my point.
Yeah, and again, Kentucky to me, and Alabama to a lesser degree. I mean, those jobs are such boiling points. I mean, from day one, particularly Kentucky basketball. I mean, they couldn't wait to get rid of a coach who, had won a national title. Certainly it had some other deep runs. And, yeah, maybe the last 4 years hadn't been as elite as they would have liked. But, okay, so you tweak a couple things. You have, Calipari embrace the portal a little bit more. And you're Kentucky. You're still going to dominate the high school recruiting rankings. So, you add a little bit more of a veteran presence to your roster, and there you go. You're probably competing for national titles again regularly. And instead, he flees to go to Arkansas because he thinks he's going to get fired in a year. And, so to take the Kentucky job, particularly when you're not one of them, Pope at least is one of them. So that may buy him an extra 10 minutes on the honeymoon. But I think if you're an outsider and you step in there, the expectation is, okay, Final Four every year and win a national title every 3 or 4 years, and we'll be satisfied with that. We won't be happy because that doesn't exist because you're supposed to do it. So we will be satisfied if that's what you give us. And I'm not bashing Kentucky basketball. There's a lot of fan bases that are like that. Florida football was legendary for that, and it's one of the reasons Steve Spurrier said, I've had enough fun coaching at my alma mater, because when we win, it's a relief, and when we lose, it's a disaster. So who wants to be in that environment? And so I don't blame Hurley. He's an icon at UConn now, and he's got a chance to three-peat. And I mean, so why would you leave UConn for Kentucky? And I think with Alabama, there also was the fear of following the legend. John Calipari, very successful coach, but Kentucky fans weren't, I don't think, upset to see him leave. So you don't have as much of the following the legend that you have with Nick Saban, who is, I think, the best college coach in my lifetime. So I think for different reasons, the jobs weren't as attractive as they would normally be. Like if DeBoer flames out and in 4 years, Alabama hires another coach, it's going to be a big-time job where they are probably going to cherry-pick who they want. If Pope doesn't work out and 3 or 4 years go by at Kentucky, same thing. Kentucky's probably going to be viewed as, wow, that is a generationally great job if you're a young coach. So I think part of it was the unique circumstances of Saban's surprise retirement and Calipari surprisingly jumping to Arkansas.
Okay, and I don't completely disagree with either of those, but I still feel like the the paradigm has shifted a little bit. So and by the way, we're going to do Taylor Dahl's going to join us our next segment. So we're going to do headlines in the 5 o'clock hour. So for people listening for headlines and Iceman talk, Iceman next, headlines in the 5 o'clock hour. But back to the point for a second. What's the best job that could likely come open this year? Florida, probably. Because I'm trying to think what bigger job than Florida could come open this year.
I mean, barring a retirement, I would say if you're talking
Ohio
about
State.
Yeah. Could it come open, you think? I guess
I'd be surprised.
I'd be surprised, too.
Imagine if he loses to Michigan without Harbaugh.
Yeah, but it's just going to be – see, that's a great point because it's sort of where I'm going with the Alabama and Kentucky thing. Like if Ohio State fires Ryan Day and let's say he goes 10-2.
I'm not saying it would be
I won't
smart.
even give him 11-1. No, I know you are. I get it. Let's say he goes 10-2. So it's not only the Michigan loss, but still he goes 10-2, loses to Michigan – and they fire him, no coach is going to touch that job. They're going to end up hiring the Toledo coach.
Bring back Herb.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And so, and you're right. So it may be just the nature of the Blue Bloods that have come open is your point. The circumstance, and I don't disagree with you. But I think if Florida comes open, to me, the bluest blood job where the guy's on a pretty hot seat is Florida. As I look around, where if you looked at when everybody comes up with a hot seat list,
I would agree. Yeah,
Florida will have the most prominent jobs.
He's going to be the number one guy on all those lists.
And certainly for the prominent jobs.
Yeah.
All right. So if he gets fired, everyone's going to say the fans, the media, their top choices will be Kiffin and Jedfish. There may be. I mean, okay. Well, with all due respect, both are greatly flawed. Now they may be really good coaches, and they may turn out to be great hires, and they'd probably be my first two choices too. But, I mean, Kiffin is as flaky as they come, and Fish is – I'm convinced Jed Fish is going to have a different job every 2 years. And I'm not saying – so my point is there's not one guy. It's just the train doesn't seem to be where it was in the past. And it just seems to me that it's – which is, by the way, one more reason why I hope Florida doesn't have a job opening. I just do. So we'll see. We'll see if it happens that way. Just the carousel has changed for me because I think people are more reticent to leave – good jobs for great jobs, when in the past you would do anything to have the great job.
But I mean, now everybody makes $10 million a year to coach,
and that's another reason.
Over $5 million, and again, we've talked about this. You know, the difference in 20 years ago, the difference between making $250,000 and $1.75 million was life changing.
Yeah, great.
You know, I can't speak from experience here, but I would imagine that the difference between making $5 million a year and $8 million a year is probably not overly life-changing.
Great point. One of the reasons in the past you left job B for job A is life-changing money. Now you already have the life-changing money. That's a really good point. Even more than the NIL, you don't have to take it now.
Right.
That's what it is. But it's just really interesting to me that when these jobs come open, the megastar next coach doesn't get. Now USC got the megastar next coach, and he might not turn out to be that. But Lincoln Riley was the megastar next coach.
That was a fantastic hire.
So sometimes you get the megastar next coach, but you don't get it very often anymore. That's what surprises me about it. So, all right, we're going to take a break. We're going to do headlines in the 5 o'clock hour because my friend Taylor Dahl, who really knows the Iceman well, is going to join us in just a few moments.
This is the greatest opening act for headlines of all time.
You know, doggone right. Well, yeah, believe me, my plan was headlines to open for Taylor.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's almost like the main event before the
we're messing this up badly.
This is the Rolling Stones opening for,
Switchfoot.
Warrant.
Switchfoot. What a random band.
We'll take a break. When we come back, Taylor Dahl joins us. Let's talk some Iceman hockey. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Taking calls and taking names.
I want to know who I'm talking to.
Just don't call him names.
That's enough! Why do you guys keep doing that?
Mike Dempsey.
Buenos tardes.
10 to noon weekdays.
Great glorious day.
On 1010XL.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Our Showtime Collecting Club continues to grow, and it's become a wonderful way for young card collectors to afford a way into the hobby. An annual membership is for kids 5 to 17 and includes multiple benefits like a free pack of cards each month. It's Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Are you looking for quality tires that won't break the bank? Well, Big Chief Tire has you covered. Frank Frangie here. get $50 off a new set of tires, and for even greater savings, finance with the CFNA card to receive an additional $50 off your first purchase and no interest for 6 months. Schedule an appointment today at BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 and take advantage of these incredible deals. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Hey guys, this is David Garrard, and I want to tell you about Clearwater Irrigation. They put my new sprinkler system in my new home at Jack's Beach, and I couldn't be happier. Oh, hey John.
What's up, Dave? You know what this means. You're going to have to sing.
Man, I can't sing.
Then you'll fit right in, buddy. Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers. Hit it, Dave.
And drainage, too.
ClearwaterJacks.com. Best Bet is number one. That's right. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war. Just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. More at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
The Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa is the perfect place for indulging in a pampering spa treatment. This Mother's Day season, give the gift of wellness with a gift card and take advantage of the spa's current promotion. Buy a $75 gift card or more and guests get a credit towards a future service. With healing massages, revitalizing facial treatments, and more, a day at the Sawgrass Spa makes a perfect gift for everyone. Purchase in person at Sawgrass Spa during operating hours.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
When they were little, the other girls played with dolls.
Aww.
They played with footballs.
Who's them?
Yes, it's us.
Helmets and heels.
From the First Coast Lighting Studios at 1010XL.
Weekdays noon to 2.
Some girls have all the fun.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loans, and personal loans. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. So call now, 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
I dare you to move.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on the Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
What's going on?
First of all, a little switchfoot on the program. If that's not a strike, we should have the robot umpires now.
Did you
see that pitch?
I did. Did you see Jim Palmer just rip the umpire last night in the Orioles game?
Baseball's freaking stupid. No.
Yeah, it was great. It was awful announcing tweeted it out. It was the umpire was CB
Buckner.
Yes, and
a classic.
And it was a good foot below the zone, and Palmer just was like, "This is what you get when you have a bad umpire who should have been basically retired."
You can't fire those guys.
You should listen to it. It is such resignation from him on how bad this umpire is.
How frustrating it is.
And how everybody knows he's bad.
Yeah.
Baseball.
That's how Angel Hernandez, like everything.
Baseball's stupid.
You see all of the memes and GIFs of him, and he's just been getting reamed lately.
He should be done.
Yeah.
So,
by lately, like 10 years.
Yeah.
That voice you hear is Taylor Dawes. You hear her on Helmets and Heels. You guys doing a great job. I listen every day, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm loving the show.
I appreciate it.
But I wanted to bring you in here to talk not about baseball because baseball's stupid. I wanted to bring you in here because I wanted you to come in and talk a little bit about the Iceman. It's a big deal for the Iceman, and I've noticed this, and I said this earlier. Andy Kaufman, who I think you know, one of the nicest people ever, by the way.
Yes, definitely.
A great owner and a great person, and the way the city is taken to the Iceman is a cool thing. They have great crowds. They run that franchise the right way, the same way, obviously the same way Ken Babby and the Jumbo Shrimp do.
Yep.
Great crowds, do it the right way. And, I mean, they really, really do. It's really a well-done operation. And an important game tonight. So
Definitely.
they're in the first round of the ECHL playoffs. Tell us give us a lay of the land for tonight.
Yeah, so if you are not familiar, it's the Kelly Cup playoffs is what they are in right now, the ECHL. When it goes to levels, just quick, ECHL, AHL, NHL. So that's the interesting part of this time of year, Frank, is because a lot of times for the ECHL, their players get called up. If your AHL team is playing well, you will lose players heading into the playoffs because they get called up to go help that next level team, which happened to the Icemen. They lost a couple guys right before the playoffs started, and so that kind of hurt you a little bit, but obviously you hope that your depth is enough. You hope that you can kind of finagle some other things to end up working, but the Icemen have been good all year long. Like, they have been at the top. They've been kind of battling the Greenville Swamp Rabbits all season long for that number one spot. Greenville actually won the division. Barely. It came down to the final game of the season for Greenville to win the division, and the Icemen were just, honestly, a shot away from winning that. And for Greenville, they just got upset by the 4 seed, which is Orlando, who is the Tampa Bay affiliate. So there's an upset there. So you're looking at, if you're the Icemen, that if you get past this round, which tonight is Game 7, and if you get past and you win Game 7, you go to round 2, you're playing a 4 seed. So that's probably an ideal situation because this 4 seed, yes, they upset round 1, but the chances of that happening again, a little bit.
So you got a good draw. It turned out to be a good draw.
Definitely. But the one thing with the Florida Everblades, it is just the kryptonite for the Icemen. They've got knocked out by them the last couple years. The Florida Everblades were the winner of the Kelly Cup playoffs last season, so it's always a really good team. They're always big. They're always fast. They have the best goaltenders in the league every single year. They're just really good at finding talent, evaluating and developing this talent. And so it's one of those situations for the Icemen. It's a big one because they started really strong. They started with the shutout Game 1. Matt Vernon was their goalie, and he's been the goalie pretty much the majority of the playoffs. And he's had 2 shutouts, and they took 2 of 3 on the road. Unfortunately, these last 2 haven't looked as good. There's been, I want to say, 7 goals allowed on him the last couple games. I'm guessing Matt Vernon's going to be in goal again, though, because you want your best goalie in the net at that time.
What are some keys for tonight, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think one of the big ones is a guy named Lordemeyer. He's a scoring genius. He's insane every single time the Icemen have won a game. It's because usually he has multiple goals on the game. The one that they actually won, the second one they won on the road, it was a shutout 5-0. He didn't score. 5 different other players scored, which hasn't happened usually this season. When there's a win, it's because he's part of the scoring situation in some fashion. So that, I think, is number one. It's a big key. There's also a couple other names. There's a guy named Nadeau, and there's a guy named Chris Brown. Both of them are also really important, that when they're scoring, when they're on, that the offense they click a lot better. So those are definitely guys, but also I think you want to see Matt Vernon and what he kind of looked like Game 1, because there wasn't a chance. There was nothing getting by him Game 1, and that's kind of what you want to see from him tonight.
Big crowd tonight, you think?
You would hope so. I heard last night it wasn't the biggest crowd, but it's a Tuesday, and I think a lot of people thought, honestly, they were going to knock it out. They were going to win, and then they'd be on to round 2, so they were kind of saving themselves to get ready for round 2. But it's a Game 7, and Game 7s in any sport are fun. So
you going?
Yes, I will be there. I had multiple people tweet me this morning being like, they've won when you're there. You better be there tonight.
Well, there you go.
you better be there tonight. So I am going with a group of friends tonight. So it'll be fun. Game 7s they're wild and they're crazy exciting. If it's anything like the series has been too, there's been 2 shutouts. There's been an overtime. There's been a lot of goals scored when it comes to 5-1 games and 5-0 games and 3-4 games. So it should be fun.
All right, tonight in the arena, the Iceman of the Everglades, 3-3, Game 7. The Icemen are up 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
It's now 3 games to 3 games, so this is a very important Game 7 to move on to the second round of the ECHL playoffs. I've talked to a lot of people that are going.
Yes.
So people that don't necessarily go
Mm-hmm.
are going. So big night for the Icemen. I know you're going to enjoy it. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, back in a moment, hour 2. After this, stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
A bunch of misfits that are finally starting to gel.
Veterans are starting to play back to form, and the rookies are developing faster than I thought. There's 2 or 3 potential all-stars in there.
1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
At Hodges Mazda, we are proud of our solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. Lauren Brooks here. As your hometown Mazda dealer, our high customer service standards and our huge inventory of new and used cars provide our customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Our professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And every vehicle purchased from Hodges Mazda comes with 2 years free maintenance. Visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online at HodgesMazda.com and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. There's a reason so many of my friends and our listeners have had Stanley Pools build their pools and now maintain their pools because Stanley Pools truly cares about their customers. Stanley Pools is locally owned and has been serving our community for 35 years. For all of your pool needs, call Stanley Pools at 269-7277. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools. 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Hey, Matt Hays with an opportunity for you. The opportunity to lose 40 pounds by the 4th. Yes, 40 pounds. I dropped my 40 pounds with Awaken 180 in just 9 weeks. Hacker lost 50 pounds so far in just 8 weeks. Real attainable goals at Awaken180weightloss.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia. AMCO Transmissions and Total Car Care.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
When you hear Florida Gators baseball on 1010XL, it's brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Window Gang Jacksonville. What are the Jaguars getting in Missouri offensive lineman Javon Foster? Tigers head coach Eli Drinkowitz was a guest today of XL Primetime and spoke about the Jaguars' fourth-round selection.
Toughness, work ethic, doesn't say much, not a big personality, but a big young man. Duval Nation's going to be really excited for him to be protecting Trevor Lawrence.
Tonight, the Jacksonville Icemen play their first Game 7 in franchise history. The puck drops tonight at 7 at the arena against the Florida Everblades. It's 83 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
All right. Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva. I am Hays Carlyon, getting ready to launch into headlines. Want to thank our good friends at Harrell & Harrell again. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you've been hurt, give them a call at 251-1111. So, Frank, this is going to qualify as one of the dumbest things that I've read lately.
Dumb.
So we're going to start off with dumb.
I love dumb. I'm the perfect guy to go to when you're looking for dumb.
I'm looking at you, Josh Kendall of The Athletic, who released his NFL post-draft power poll rankings today.
Right.
I don't know if you saw this or not.
I did not.
Kansas City is first, no argument there. The Texans are fifth, which I think is ridiculous, but that's not the worst part of these things. The Colts are 14th. The Jaguars, 26th.
26 in the power poll.
26
well, then, Josh,
in the power poll.
Josh,
give me a break. And dude, I want them to win, but I get it. They've had flawed teams, and sometimes I would have said, well, they'll be lucky to finish 26th.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, give me a break. 26.
Josh Kendall that used to be in Columbia, South Carolina.
I'm assuming. I don't know why they asked him to do it.
He was a college guy forever, covered South Carolina. If it's the same, oh, he's an idiot. I mean, if you really think. Really, not being a Jags homer, if you think there's 25 NFL teams that are going to go into the season better than Jags, well, then you're uninformed.
Right.
So this is a really uninformed.
I was shocked by it.
I'd be embarrassed, even if I thought a team's going to take a dive. I would be embarrassed to write something that dumb. Now, look, you can get away with it nationally. Because people that don't know just assume bad for the Jags.
And The Athletic doesn't have a Jaguars beat writer. They haven't for many years now. So obviously it's not a priority.
If you think there's 25 better, then you're not very
break,
then he's not very smart. I mean,
they've won 19 games. And
everybody that's doing their mock drafts has them drafting 15 to 18, which means it has them barely missing the playoffs.
Right.
So if you have him 25th, you're not informed. Or 26th, you're not. That's just a very uninformed.
He has the Patriots above them.
He has a lot of teams.
Well, 25. Like 25 teams.
I'm sitting there.
Commanders.
I'm sitting there reading this thing,
Vikings.
and it was one of those things that as I'm going through it, I'm thinking, has he made a mistake?
He's just uninformed.
Like, is it going to be 31 teams or like? And no, it was not a mistake. But anyway, so I just had to get that off my chest. So sorry, Josh, but bad power poll there. Really sad news. Frank, you brought this up earlier. Former Florida State quarterback Marcus Altson has died, nicknamed the Rooster. Altson started at Florida State in the 1998 win over Florida and started in the 99 Fiesta Bowl title game, lost to Tennessee. Just a fiery competitor and really stepped up when the Noles needed him to. Here's a clip of Altson after beating the Gators.
Marcus, congratulations. A great showing. It's a great win. It's a great win for Tallahassee. It's a great win for this football team. Now, what about this nickname, Rooster? You said you didn't want ESPN to know about it or anybody. Now they're going to be the Rooster for all time. Hey, I can deal with it. It's all right. My nose is Rooster. As long as I keep winning, call whatever you want.
Love it.
Yeah, he was a good Seminole. The Seminole people will tell you that. He's only 46 years old. It was really sad. And again, he was called into action when Chris Weinke got hurt.
Right.
And people thought they were in trouble. Again, that Gator team they beat was ranked 4th. It was a really good Florida team, and they got him into the championship game against Tennessee. And as we said at the top of the show, Hayes, a Tennessee team loaded with NFL defensive players. But really sad news. Marcus Altson, the Rooster, Rooster, dead at the age of 46.
Yes, very, very sad indeed. Staying with college football in our great state, there is a really good feature from ESPN's Andrea Adelson on Cam Ward. Could he be the next great Miami quarterback, Frank?
Apparently he's really good. And people that know him, Denny knows him, some of the people in the college football world, he was kind of invisible at Washington State. Apparently he's today's guy. He is dynamic. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to go be Jaden Daniels, who came out of nowhere to win the Heisman Trophy and be the most dynamic quarterback or dynamic player in the country, but I think he's got that type of skill. This could be the thing. JJ, you know, Miami needs somebody to rescue them. Much like Florida, that has been a dead program for 2 decades, and he might be the guy to rescue them. I hear.
And they have a seemingly good roster.
I agree. They're good in the trenches. So,
Last
JJ, are you excited about Cam?
Absolutely, dude. I need him to be good more than anything.
Yeah, the word is he's pretty good and that he's meshed. And
he threw for like 306 in the spring game. The story does a really good job also talking about his personality and his trash talking.
Yeah.
It's good. If you're certainly a college football fan and certainly a Canes fan, you should go read it.
Apparently the rest of the team loved him like instantly when he got there.
Staying with college football, on threes, Jesse Simonton has ranked the quarterback units around the country. Very interesting here. Texas leads the way, obviously, with Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning. They're first. The Gators are 9th, which I thought it was illegal to write anything positive about that program.
Oh, right.
But with Graham Mertz and DJ Lagway, they do check in. He only did 10 teams. Georgia is 4th, obviously, with local product Carson Beck and potential Heisman frontrunner. Ole Miss is 7th with Jackson Dart. LSU is 8th. But Florida, Florida has to play 4 teams that are above them on this list. But Florida's 9th in the country, according to Jesse Simonton. This is a good list, by the way.
Yeah. By the way, you're on to something. It's a state crime to write anything positive about the Gators. It's a federal crime to write anything positive about Mertz. No one's ever said that. First of all, the Texas list is very good. They're both very good. Carson Beck, I would have Georgia first just because they have Carson Beck. I wouldn't care about who the backup is.
This is a list that obviously is incorporating who the backup is.
So I would have Georgia first if I had that list. But of all the things wrong with Florida, the quarterback room is not one of them. The quarterback room with those 2 guys is good. You got a guy that's very good this year and a guy that I think is going to be very good. So, yeah, good. The Gators aren't in many top 10s these days, so good for them.
You'd like to think if you got good quarterback play, you would at least go to a bowl game. So we'll see what happens with the Gators this fall. Switching to the NBA, Tyrese Maxey, my goodness, what a performance last night. Scored 7 points in the final 29 seconds to rescue the 76ers, and 2 of those threes were just bombs.
Bombs. From another county. The NBA playoffs, look, I'm like you. I'm not a big NBA guy. JJ is. They've been pretty good.
Yeah, they have.
The playoffs have been pretty good. I will say.
It's been a lot of fun watching the highlights on Twitter.
but I have watched some, and to be this early in the playoffs and paying attention, I think it's going to be a fun month.
I will agree with that. I think as they get deeper into it, is for me, even a casual fan, I think it's going to be really fun to watch. The Magic did lose a heartbreaker. JJ, can they recover?
Yeah, they could win at home. Every single home team's won. But can they win 2 in a row in this series? I don't know about that. Yeah, they had a chance at the end. They got blocked at the basket to try to tie it and take it into overtime. Crazy game, crazy series. I think they can. I don't think they will.
You know, it's interesting. Jay, did you watch any of it last night?
I watched some. I watched the end because I work. During most of it.
So what was interesting is, and JJ made this point during our program yesterday, Hayes, because they were on NBA TV, not on one of the networks, you got the Magic broadcast. At least we did. So I got my friend David Steele on the call of a very important game, who's so good, by the way. So loved it.
And been good forever.
Yeah, forever.
Love that.
Do you know David?
I don't know him. I remember him as a kid calling the Gator games, and then
David.
And with the Magic, because I was a big Magic fan in college.
Great guy, great friend. He was kind of instrumental in me kind of doing some of the play-by-play.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
he did breakfast with the Gators.
Yeah, he did. He was the Gator play-by-play guy for a while, not for long, mid '80s, and then when he left to take the Magic job, and Mick Hubert got the Gator job, David was the TV guy. So he did the Breakfast with the Gators broadcast for many years. That's what you would have heard. So, but yeah, he was the play-by-play guy before Mick Hubert. Great broadcaster and a wonderful person. Georgia grad, by the way. Did you know that?
Oh, I did not know that.
David's a Georgia guy. He was fantastic.
Yeah, and he regularly will come on with like Hacker.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he does a
fantastic
great job.
guy and does a great job.
Absolutely. The Celtics have ruled Porzingis out for several games. What's the level of concern in Boston?
I think it's a big deal. JJ, you know better than I do. I'm going to defer to you on this. But I said this on the program yesterday. That's what completed them. I don't pretend to be some NBA guy. But obviously, a guy, and I love Al Horford. What Gator doesn't love Al Horford? But what they were missing is a legitimate center that can go get you 18 to 20 on a regular basis. Right. JJ, I think it's going to be. Look, they're still the best team in the East. They're still probably going to come out of the East. But I think this changes the paradigm a bit.
Well,
I really do.
That's why I think they'll still easily get through the East, but without him. But they need him against the Nuggets. They have no shot without him.
And that would be
or
the NBA
Nuggets
Finals.
Or insert any Western Conference team, really.
We're still roughly about 4 months away between now and the NBA Finals,
August.
right? Isn't that correct?
Right, and 5 months away from training camp.
So hopefully he has enough time to heal up the calf injury there. Let's switch it to Major League Baseball. Mike Trout is out 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury.
Yeah.
Leads Major League Baseball with 10 home runs, but Frank just can't stay healthy anymore at 32.
And that's really going to be the sad tale of Mike Trout when it's all over, unless he can go chase a title at the end, is going to be this magnificently great player who for much of his career was the best player in the sport that nobody who doesn't know the sport will have ever known. That's going to be right now that's the epitaph. And it's going to be, if something doesn't change, the Angels are never going to win anything. I will hold out hope that when he gets healthy, when he's 32, not when he's 38, that he has a chance to go chase a title with the contending.
It really pissed me off that he re-signed there.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the time they did have Ohtani, and they were spending. They spent on Rendon. Like they throw money around, but they just suck.
Yeah, they do. They're never going to win anything.
I think he has 14 career playoff plate
At-bats,
appearances. I mean, that's unbelievable.
I mean, it's hard, and I'll say this. I would say it's hard to be invisible in L.A. It's probably not when you're the other franchise. I mean, nobody knows the Clippers either. You know, so I get it, but it's really sad, and I hope he finds his way to a contender before it's over.
One of the fun, zanier stories that we've seen in the bigs occurred last night. JJ, take it away.
Hero of the day, Matt Hilton is his name, and he has lived it up. They were chanting MVP. They were playing I Need a Hero, and he was that hero. He got the place clear. And just a moment ago, he threw out the ceremonial first pitch. They just announced that he's going to be available for interviews in the press box at 8:45. Matt Hilton, 37-year-old father of 4, movie star, good looks, now a superstar.
Now, what do you think he did, Frank?
Yeah, what he did with the first pitch, or to save the bees?
Why is this guy suddenly a superstar?
He fixed the bees.
Yes,
he handled the bees.
Most popular, famous beekeeper in the history of man.
He's the greatest beekeeper of all time. He's a superstar among men. That's what he is. That's fantastic stuff.
It was a 2-hour delay. Pretty big hive. I was a little surprised.
Did they have to go pick him up from his house?
I think he was at. I heard he was at his son's wiffle ball game.
Wiffle.
Yes, I mean, so he was at a little kid's game and got called away, but got rid of the bees, like you mentioned, throughout the first pitch, and just an unbelievable wild tale in Major League Baseball.
Freaking beekeeper wasn't afraid.
Yeah,
Look at that.
Well, he did have a suit on, to be fair.
He did,
with a mask, so he was a little.
God
afraid.
bless him.
It was something to behold, and then when he threw the first pitch, he kind of threw off the beekeeper's hat, and
he was
dramatic.
Hey, you know what? You get one moment.
Yeah,
he embraced his moment.
He missed his calling. He should have been like in the Phantom of the Opera with that kind of stage presence. But there was also an interesting story in the bigs last night: a brawl in the Brewers-Rays game. JJ's got sound for that.
Oh boy, a rebound with punches thrown, and Siri needs some help. And some of the Brewers pulled Siri away. And if Peralta was ejected for hitting, then I got to think Uribe's going to be thrown out.
He took a swing at it,
right.
For goodness sake. First of all, you could see him chirping Siri over by first base. Siri, started to make his way out onto the field, and Uribe took an overhand right at him. Listen, You don't like the way that Jose Siri went about taking his trip around the bases? I understand that. You drill him the next time. Okay, it's over. It's over. Sure, now you pull that stunt, that's bootleg.
What you think?
It was bizarre. Siri hits a home run. He pimped it a little bit to JJ's point earlier. They don't hit him afterwards. He grounds out the first, so a different pitcher's covering because Peralta had already hit him and been injected. This guy Uribe's over there. They kind of bump shoulders a little bit, have words about it. They look at each other, and then they're swinging. Now, again, their baseball players have no idea how to fight, so they're not connecting, but they're swinging. It's one of the we see a lot of baseball non-fights, but that's one of the few baseball non-fights that didn't start right after the beanball. It was weird.
It was very, very strange. I thought the same thing. Let's move it to media. Fox is seeking $7 million per 30-second ad for Super Bowl 59.
How much?
$7 million. So should I put you down for 7?
Yeah.
$49 million. That's usually what you invest in a Super Bowl, right?
It is $7 million. $7 million?
$7 million per 30-second spot.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And by the way, they will get it. What's your value? Your value is what the market will bear. The market will bear that.
There's no doubt about it that they will get it.
$7 million for a 30-second spot.
That is obviously a lot.
And that's not even counting how much you have to pay, like, insert 4 celebrities to eat
to make
chip.
the commercial.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Wow. No doubt about it. JJ was kind enough to send me this. Dave & Buster's is going to start allowing customers of age to bet on arcade games.
Thank God.
This might be the greatest idea I've ever heard.
I got to call my bookie. I had no idea. How about that?
Now, what's your best? Are you a skee ball guy? Are you a shoot the baskets guy?
I love to shoot the basket. By the way,
I'm more air hockey.
I've never been good at betting. I'm not much of a gambler, so I don't even know how the whole betting. I don't know what kind of prop bet you can get in Dave & Buster's. But there'd be the shooting the hoops. Would you bet on me? If I go in there, will you bet on me?
I would.
I'll go in there
let's
just so
say
you
you
bet
have
on
10
me.
shots. I would say the over/under is 6.5.
Yeah, take the over.
Yeah, maybe okay there.
Yeah,
okay.
I would take the over. So anyway, if you are itching to get some action going, Dave & Buster's is going to be could be an alternative.
Some
for
people
you.
need to look themselves in the mirror.
Yes, that is for sure. Let's get it to the world of pop culture. Chris Farley has a biopic that will be coming out, and that biopic has its lead is Paul Walter Hauser has been cast as the iconic comedian. Hauser turned heads in Blackbird, which is excellent if you have not seen it. It's disturbing, but it's excellent. Chris Farley died in 1997. His family has given its blessing for this project.
You know, he was a complicated guy, funny as hell. That will be worth watching. And I'm guessing it'll be like Man in the Moon. It'll be dark in some areas, you know, but I think it'll be really good. I mean, I thought Man in the Moon I thought Jim Carrey as Andy Kaufman was funny, hard to watch, painful,
dark,
awesome, dark, all in. And I'm guessing this will be like that too.
I'm very curious to see the tone of this film because I think it's a mistake if they go too dark with it. Obviously, you have to tell the story of his life, and this part of that story is certainly addiction. But it's hard for me to imagine enjoying a 2-hour Chris Farley movie if it's depressing.
Yeah, especially because when you watch like interviews of his friends and people that were around him at the time, like he brought nothing but joy,
absolutely,
to everyone. So even when he was living a dark life. Yeah, I'm
always
interested
upbeat
to see it.
Yeah, I agree. So that'll be interesting to see how they go about that. We're gonna flash back now to 2001. That is when, on this date, Billy Crystal's HBO movie 61 came out. I think one of the more underrated baseball movies that we've seen, chronicling obviously Roger Maris's chase, and Mickey Mantle obviously is a great character in that. And I think it did an excellent job of documenting what the Maris family went through.
Barry Pepper as Maris was simply spectacular. The pain that he went through, the innocence of not understanding why people were against him. It was, I thought his performance, Hays, in that was truly spectacular. It was a great, great, great movie.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that movie is 23 years old. Isn't that hard to believe? I remember the night it premiered because I was excited to see it.
And it was really good. It was really, really good.
Really, really well done. All right, this will wrap us up for the headlines. Happy birthday to Ray Parker Jr., who turned 70 today.
Wow.
Ray Parker Jr. gave us arguably the greatest theme a movie has ever had. Ghostbusters. This song reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1984 and stayed there for 3 weeks and remains one of the most recognizable songs, I would say, that we've had in the last 40 years.
As we go to break, I've only got one question. Who are you going to call?
Who are you going to call?
Back in a moment. 1010XL 92.5 FM.
And it don't look good. Who you going to call?
Ghostbusters! The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
There's something special about radio play-by-play. Always has been. In Jacksonville, your place for play-by-play is 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Ladies and gentlemen, it only happens once a year. It's always fun. It's our Memorial Day weekend backlot clearance. 267 new and used vehicles in our backlot have been marked down to the max to include vehicles under $10,000. But when they're gone, it's over. Our once-a-year Memorial Day backlot clearance starts Friday and ends on Monday at 10 p.m. sharp. You cannot afford to miss this sale. Only at Beaver Toyota St. Augustine and Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I'm Taylor Rose with our Remedy Staffing Westside office off of Normandy Boulevard. We are helping great people find great jobs. Remedy has helped some of the best employers in Jacksonville find talented job seekers like you for over 25 years. Our current job openings range from entry-level distribution center pickers to equipment operators. Apply today at remedygoodjobs.com. Don't wait. Apply at remedygoodjobs.com now.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner. With honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Want to rock out with Motley Crue, Foo Fighters, and Limp Bizkit? Listen to the 10-minute drill every morning this week in the 7 o'clock hour for your chance to win 4-day weekend passes for Welcome to Rockville in Daytona.
The big reveal is coming. Who do the Jags play and what are the best matchups? The big reveal is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning, and renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Hacker here with a story that really opened my eyes last week. So I was lugging little Hack upstairs. Now the kid weighs about 45 pounds. And as I'm walking up the stairs at about the same pace I used to, it all of a sudden hit me. Little Hack is the weight I used to carry around every day before I dropped over 50 pounds with a Waken 180 weight loss. Think about that. I was just carrying around Little Hack and fat just 2 months ago. Everywhere I went, all the time. Up the stairs, out to the car, you name it. That's over over 50 pounds gone. What's next? Well, another 50. Yes, sir. I'm literally a completely new person, and I'm doing it with Awaken 180. And I'm more than happy to share my story. In fact, listeners are calling in saying I'm motivating them to lose weight, which is absolutely unthinkable just 2 short months ago. If losing weight is your goal, Awaken 180 is the way to do it. Make the call. 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Dave Binion here with my son Ammon, who is the air duct cleaning manager at Zero Res. So Ammon, you may notice a little rattle in my voice and some puffiness in my eyes. That's because allergy season is coming on. Can Zero Res help?
Yes, your health has a lot to do with the air you breathe. A clean and healthy home begins with clean air. At Zero Res, we can help clean the air in your home by cleaning your air ducts, cleaning the coils in your HVAC units, and fogging the system with a powerful antimicrobial that helps kill and control the growth of microorganisms in your air. We also have options for maintaining your clean air with our excellent inline air purifier and UV lights that will help keep your system clean and healthy. At Zero Res, we are more than just air duct cleaners. We're a clean air specialist.
Have Zero Res air duct specialists out, and right now we'll give you $50 off your air duct cleaning, and while we're at it, we'll give you $50 off your dryer vent cleaning. Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Are you ready to help lock down the bank in 2024? Don't miss a single moment when quarterback Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars take on some of the biggest names in the NFL. Become a season ticket member now to get access to exclusive experiences, events, and player appearances all season long. Lock in your seats for 2024 now by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at Everbank Stadium.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
We thank our friends from Ricketts Electric. One more time, the number is 904-320-5960. Zach Ricketts and his company, they do a fantastic job. They're our electrician at our home, at our ballpark. You could use them as well. 904-320-5960. Call Zach and the good folks at Ricketts Electric. You'll trust them. We love having them out the house. When we have a problem, you will as well. Hey, I got speaking of walk-off, I got a fun announcement. We are having we had our opening weekend for our Northside Intercity League. I told you it was awesome. 63 teams, over 700 players. All kids in inner city areas, and it was freaking kids that ordinarily wouldn't have had these sweet uniforms. Hays, and it was one of the most fantastic things. And Marquise Grissom and some of the former players from the Players Alliance were down working with the coaches. It was a great weekend. But you got to pay for that stuff. You know, I'll tell you this. Someone asked me, and I guess I'm not talking out of turn because there's no secrets. Someone asked me what it cost to put a league. It cost us over $100,000 for that league. The league cost about $110,000 to put on a league like that. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, because I think there's 700 kids and it's about $150 a kid, give or take. So it's about $100,000, and that's okay. We raised the money so these kids can play. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. It wasn't supposed to be easy. You know, so we knew, but we raised it. So, and we mitigated a lot of that or some of that with this brand new ballpark. We're putting on our first ever real tournament, like for all the ages: 10U, 12U, 18U, 10 teams in each. It's over the 4th of July weekend. 4th of July week starts Tuesday, ends on Sunday. It's going to be an appreciation to the military. We're going to have very special military, including on the 4th of July. We'll most of these weekdays we'll play from 2 to 10, 8 in the morning to 10. But that day we're going to stop play about 3 o'clock on the 4th of July. Have a cookout for all the teams, which is kind of cool.
That is.
Have a home run derby, and then turn them loose at 6 o'clock and let them go enjoy the 4th of July with their families. And then start right back up on Friday, a real military appreciation on Saturday that week, where all veteran-owned businesses are going to be able to have kiosks and show their wares and sell their stuff. It's really a neat thing, and we're really proud of it. So we put the word out. The teams can get in it, and we're getting a lot of calls. So if you have a 10U, a 12U, or an 18U team, and you'd like to be part of this thing, go on our line, right? Go. It's on our Twitter feed or on our website. It's just walkoff.com/tournament. And so you can get involved in it. So we've had a lot of response already, and it's going to be – I can't wait. So it's really cool.
How do companies get involved if they want?
Companies can let us know. We'd love to have them involved. We'd love to – any veteran-owned company would like to have a kiosk out there, be part of it. You go on the website. Go on the website, and it'll tell you how to do that. So we're very excited. So it's a military appreciation. Our friends from Wounded Warriors are going to be involved. Our friends from Firewatch are going to be involved. But mostly it's 30 teams, a lot of travel teams and whatnot. And the revenues from that help the kids we just launched on Saturday play. So it's a cool thing. So I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about the tournament, and we got a lot of good people working really hard to make that thing happen. What's going on with Deion? What are you doing? What's Deion doing?
He basically is. It's hard to describe, but sort of criticizing former players that have questioned how much time and attention he gave them. The story is it's hard to even sort of discuss. I mean, but basically Deion Sanders is tweeting at basically his critics and things like that. The only real takeaway I have from it is this sort of has convinced me that this must be his last year in coaching, that maybe it really is just about coaching his sons, and then once they're on to the NFL, he will no longer really have an interest in coaching, because to have a day like this, it's a disqualifier, I think, for anybody else that might be interested in hiring him. You just don't want your head coach behaving in this manner on social media. So the only thing I can say is I would believe that this is his last year at Colorado, and then Deion Sanders goes and does something else with his life.
Yeah, I will tell you, I'm telling you, even when he was all the rage last year and everyone was talking about it and they upset whoever they upset, that they got everyone talking, you still felt like something was it Kansas? Who'd they open the season with?
TCU.
They beat TCU. You still feel like something wasn't right. Something was a little bit abnormal with Deion, and I'd never believed, Florida State among them, that any of those teams would have been lining up to hire him if they had an opening. I just never felt it.
Yeah.
There was chatter about it.
I bought into it,
Yeah.
and I obviously was wrong.
Yeah.
Because I thought after those first 2 or 3 weeks, it was like, wow,
Yeah.
You know, this guy might be a superstar.
And I don't doubt that he's a good coach. I think he's a great football guy. He's one of the great players in NFL history, probably the greatest cornerback in the history of the sport, and a good coach. He put together a good staff. But there's something, you have, as a football coach and a leader of men, you can have some abnormalities, Hays. You can have some quirkiness, some eccentricities, I suppose, but you can't have too many. You still have the foundation of who you are still has to be first when you're leading people, particularly when you're leading young men. I say this all the time. Why do all these young men get in trouble in football? Well, I'll tell you why they get in trouble. Because they're 18 to 22-year-old men living away from home for the first time. And we were all idiots when we were 18 to 22-year-old men living away from home. I remember I had no clue about what I was doing when I was living away from home for the first time in that age group. It was hard, man. It's hard. And even more so if you have scholarship money and you're entitled, and so that's why kids get in trouble. They're not bad kids. They're just trying to figure it out.
I made more mistakes than good decisions by a mile.
Yeah. We all did because we're trying to figure it out. And so the leaders have to be even better than the leaders of a corporation, because the leaders of a corporation, by and large, their chief lieutenants are grown-ups. Your chief lieutenants, when you're a college coach, your most important employees are teenagers or early 20s. And so, the eccentricities to a point, I don't know, man. And I'm not saying Deion's a bad guy, but don't go on Twitter and rip college kids. That is, that's really unsettling, I think.
I completely agree. JJ, you're obviously coming at this from a different age perspective than Frank and I. What did you think?
Oh yeah, I think it's embarrassing. You know, I get that he's defending his son with these tweets, but like when you're going after a guy named Jaheim Ward from Austin P, you know, it's weird. It's weird, and it just shows, like, don't you have something better to do with your time? I could never see Kirby doing something like this. You know, I could never see Nick Saban doing anything like this. And, you know, those are the guys you want to emulate and be like. And I never thought of it like Hays just said, but I tend to believe it. Yeah, maybe he's just going to get out of this after his kid. He did the job of getting his kid to the NFL. Job done. All right, I'm done with this. I don't think he'll get hired at some big-time school, you know, unless he goes like 10-0 this year or something like that. And why would he want to stay at Colorado after his kid leaves?
Yeah, one thing about it being a coach, man, you got to stay the course because there's the good and the bad, bro. You know that there's the good and the bad, and the ability. B, willingness to stay the course is important. So I don't know. We'll see what winds up happening. But it's to say the very least, it's an interesting paradigm. So we'll keep an eye on it. Speaking of,
I was just going to say real quick, this is kind of cool news. The Jaguars won a Webby for their schedule release video.
No doubt.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
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 Very cool. And Hug Dieterson.
Yeah. How good was Asher's thing? Asher's very proud of that too. As
he should be. It was incredibly well done.
Yeah, it really was. So they should want a Webby. Good for them. And then, first of all, Asher's fantastic. Secondly, you've heard me say this before, and I really believe this. The digital team they've assembled over there, and there's a lot of them. There's like 19. But the digital team they've assembled for Sounds of the Game and The Hunt, and it's incredibly good. It's Netflix-worthy stuff that they're doing on a team a website. It really is. I've told Patrick Cavanaugh, who runs that department, many times, I don't even think he realizes how good it is. I think sometimes when you're in the weeds, you know, when you're right in the middle of it, you can't step back and look at how well we're doing. And I think that's happened with us. So it's a great. So good for the Jags. Good for Asher and Pete Cav and all those guys. Good for them. Other things in college football. We talked about Deion. Is there anything left in the portal? Anything left? Or is the portal the second way? To your point, you made it yesterday.
I know Florida is waiting on an interior offensive lineman that they really like.
The USC guy.
Yes, who's going to, I think, is down. He's from Florida, wants
to
get back home.
Down to UCF in Florida.
Down to UCF in Florida. So I think that's the only one of consequence locally.
Yeah, he'll be the starting center either place, they say.
Right.
They say wherever, if he's down to Florida and UCF, and the expectations are that he will be the starting center the minute he picks the campus.
Right. And the portal is now closed, but
what does that mean?
Who knows? If you're already in the portal,
correct.
You don't have to decide.
Right.
You can remain in the portal, but
I don't think nobody else can go to it.
I don't think as of today you can just say, okay, now I'm going to enter the portal. Although I'm sure if you file a legal argument, you'll get clearance in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. But there's not. I think the teams. I guess where I'm going with this, as we sit here in early May, I'm pretty confident now the teams that are on the field, the teams that are in whatever level of workouts they're in now, because they never stop, that's the team you're playing with. Wouldn't you say that for just about everybody?
I would say that. Yeah, I think 99% of your team, if not 100%, is your roster.
Who might surprise you? Georgia's not a surprise. They're expected to be great.
I think Florida could surprise.
You think Florida could surprise?
I'll say this. If the criteria, first off, to your point, a lot of teams aren't going to meet the criteria.
Right.
Because the criteria, when I hear that kind of question, is who's a team that people think is going to be lousy that might actually be pretty good.
The criteria is lousy might be pretty good, or average to be real good. That's the two criteria.
Yeah,
that's the two ways you can surprise.
I could see Florida going 8-4, which would be
a huge surprise.
2 to 3 games better than what people think, because I just think they're going to be really hard to beat in the swamp. And obviously they've got some great teams that are coming in there, but if they can hold serve at home, then I think they can get there. So I would buy stock in Florida. Obviously it's a penny stock right now, so it's not a huge investment. I think Florida State's going to be good. I don't think they'll have much of a drop off. I'll give you one for the I'll stay local for the different criteria of I think they're probably pretty good, and I think they could be really good. Is Miami?
Well, that right.
I think whoever wins the Miami-Florida game is going to the playoff.
I will say to the playoff.
To the playoff. Whoever wins the Florida-Miami game, because it's going to be such a big momentum boost for whoever gets that win.
Yeah.
That I think, and again on Florida's schedule, Florida goes 9-3. They're going to be in that playoff. I mean, there's no doubt about it with the schedule, the wins that they would have to get. Now, again, I don't know that they're going to beat Miami. But I definitely think if Miami goes into the swamp and gets out of there with a win with 92,000 lunatics screaming at them, then Miami is going to be really good.
Yeah.
And so so part of that statement is I think Miami is probably going to win.
Right.
But if Florida does surprise me and win that game, that's the kind of early win that can propel you to a 9-3, which in a 12-team format with their schedule, I think would be enough for them to squeeze in at the end. I mean, you'd have to see how it plays out.
That's the only tough venue in which Miami will play. Their other road games are South Florida, Cal, conference game, Louisville, Georgia Tech, and Syracuse. So the only death knell place they will play is Florida. I don't know how good Florida's team will be. So yeah, if Miami wins that game, I mean, here's Miami's schedule. And in fairness to Miami, they've played some tough schedules, so they're allowed an easy one. But after going to Florida, here's their opponents: Florida A&M, Ball State, South Florida, Virginia Tech, Cal, Louisville, until Florida State comes in there on the 26th. Then it's Duke, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, Syracuse. So really, if Miami comes out of Gainesville with the win,
they should go at worst 10-2, and we'll have a great shot at 11-1.
And if they're 10-2, they're in the playoff.
I would agree.
I would agree with that too. So then the sky's the limit. If that winds up happening, the sky's the limit. Florida, even if they win that game, I don't necessarily think they're in the playoff, but it would be a great start. I'll say this:
they'd have to go 8-3 in their final 11.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to lose to Georgia. I think they'll probably lose at Florida State, but Florida State does have a brand new team. And they have to go to Tennessee, but all the pressure is going to be on Tennessee in that game.
I'll say this: I agree with that, but I'll say this: that game, and we'll talk more. I told JJ we were going to talk about this yesterday, never got to it, but and we will as the week goes on, and certainly as the weeks go on. But that will be the Florida-Miami game. Will be one of the most important games in Florida in decades because it will have a lot to do with who the coach is going to be. And it will be the most important game in Billy Napier's life. This will be it will be the most important game in his life because if he loses that game, it's a long way back. It's a long way back with Texas A&M, a trip to Mississippi State, which can be tough, and then the gauntlet at the end at Tennessee, Georgia, at Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, at FSU. If you don't have momentum coming out of the gate, that's a hard run.
But if Florida can win all their games in the swamp, and again, I'm not suggesting it, I'm just saying that they are 8 points better in that building than they are anywhere else. You could lose to Georgia and Jacksonville. You could certainly lose at Texas. And let's say they lose, I don't think they'll lose at Mississippi State, at Tennessee. If you lost at Tennessee, or Florida State. If you lost at Texas, at Florida State, and lost to Georgia, and won every other game, I think they'd have a good case.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know that they're going to do that. I'd pick Miami today to win that game.
Right.
But my point is, whoever comes out of that game is going to the playoffs.
I love the. I don't agree with the statement, but I love the statement because now it's one more reason to keep an eye on it. I'll say this: if they win. If they start the season 4-1 or 5-0, then they'll have the kind of momentum where they'll have a chance.
Because they'll be dangerous.
Because even though Kentucky, LSU, and Ole Miss are good teams, they all do have to come in there. If they start out with a loss or two, if they start out, lose to Miami, beat Samford and A&M, and then lose in Starkville.
Oh yeah. He could also be fired by October 8th.
Yeah, I think Florida. I honestly believe this. I think best case for them is 8-4, but I do think it's in play. Now I think it's the ceiling, but I think 8-4 is in play for them. I also think 4-8 is in play for them.
The thing is, I do think they're going to have really quality quarterback play with the veteran in Mertz, who's very efficient, and I do think Lagway is going to give them something as a runner to help convert red zone and third and fourth and short opportunities. So if you get quality quarterback play, it's hard to go 4-8. I mean, again, their defense has been just an abject failure. But I do think they've got the pieces to be much better. And again, we've talked at length about this and we'll continue to. For the first time in 3 years, they're not playing a bunch of kids that just arrived on campus. And those kids are now starting for you. Like they finally have gotten it to a point where their signing class can come in and get their feet wet and be in a reserve role and not be asked to go defend these elite offenses that they're going to see.
We'll take a break. 1 segment to go. We'll have it for you after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The latest odds on the NBA championship, the Boston Celtics remaining the betting favorite to take home the Larry O'Brien Trophy, Boston at plus 130, while the Denver Nuggets are plus 260 to repeat as champions. The Minnesota Timberwolves plus 850, the Oklahoma City Thunder plus 900, the New York Knicks plus 1400, and the Dallas Mavericks plus 1700. Celtics versus Nuggets is the best bet for the NBA Finals matchup at plus 185, Boston and Oklahoma City plus 550, Boston and the Minnesota Timberwolves are a plus 600. This update brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
With the first pick in the 2024 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Duck Duck Rooter, the #1 plumbing, septic, and underground utility contractor in Florida.
Congratulations, Duck Duck Rooter. So tell us, how does it feel to be picked #1?
Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help with any plumbing or septic issue, just give us a call and relax. We'll send one of our first-round draft picks to get the job done right. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
An ACL tear can be a devastating injury with prolonged pain and rehabilitation. Hi, I'm Dr. George Bari. I'm a sports medicine orthopedic surgeon who grew up right here in Jacksonville and then went on to train with the world-renowned Dr. James Andrews. At Bari Orthopedics, we use the most current techniques to get you back in the field with less pain and quicker rehabilitation. We treat all types of sports injuries with the newest techniques available. Please call us for consultation or visit BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com. I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Triumph is such a beautiful ride. But, Greg, you're telling me that there's a price point that's going to invite even more potential buyers.
There is. There's 2 new models, both of them under $6,000, one of them under $5,000. Great motorcycle, same Triumph quality and design. You got to come see it.
And it still's that big bike underneath you.
It is. It's a good-looking bike and all Triumph.
You can log on, cyclesofjacksonville.com, or visit the showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
Learn more about Jacksonville's newest faces.
What is the difference between a first-round pick and a seventh-round pick?
A lot of money. Listen for 1010XL Draft Profiles, brought to you by Total Business Systems. Visit jacksitexperts.com.
Spring is here, and along with it comes the best golfing days of the year. Come out to Hidden Hills and test out our Arnold Palmer signature masterpiece and enjoy the popular Hills Grill after your round. Book your tee time today, hiddenhillsgc.com.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and it's the perfect time to elevate your game with MyBookie. With MyBookie, you can bet from anywhere, anytime, so you never miss a shot to cash in on a play. You can even live stream and bet on the games right from the sportsbook, giving you everything you'll need to decide, cash out or let it ride. MyBookie really makes it easy to get paid with tons of boosted props and slam dunk parlays, and new boosts are now posted on the daily. It's more than just a sports book. Buzzer beaters, underdog upsets, and a community to share in all of the sweats. Give yourself a head start today and play with house money using promo code 1010XL when you make your first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to claim a limited time bonus when you sign up and make your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Thinning or balding hair? Introducing Scalp Micropigmentation now at IHRS. SMP is a procedure for men and women, looks like your own growing hair, and corrects thinning areas. SMP is perfect for men and women who shave their head and want a full head of hair look. Call IHRS now, 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com today.
Prosser here for Lifetime Flooring. You've heard us rave about Lifetime Enclosures. Now let's talk about Lifetime Flooring. I can tell you firsthand, the products and services, the best in Jacksonville. As you know, updating your floors is one of the most dramatic changes you can make to your home. Call the experts at Lifetime Flooring now and ask about their buy one room, get one room free promotion through Memorial Day. 0% financing available to meet any budget. Visit their beautiful showroom just off Phillips Highway and tell them Prosser sent you.
Pross, I'm thinking about changing my name.
Again? You're already the media mogul, the straw that stirs the drink, the Duke of Pablo Bay. Now what?
Refer to me as Dreamfinders Danny Hicken.
What in the blazes? Is this a cash grab?
No, it's just that I believe so much in Dreamfinders Homes. 20 locations in Northeast Florida, official home builder of Jags and Gators. Great opportunity for first-time homeowners.
All right. Dreamfinders Danny it is.
Did I mention the lowest interest rates you can find? Visit dreamfindershomes.com. Now let Dreamfinders Danny celebrate through the majesty of song. Dreamfinders, I believe they will build your home just right.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
We sure appreciate our friends at Ricketts Electric. One more time, they are the folks to call. Always a Ricketts Electric Wednesday, folks to call when you have electrical needs. All right, almost out of time in the program today. I do want to thank my friend Brett Hastings for stopping by, talking about the Reggie Bush Heisman thing and the fact that even though he got the Heisman back, he is going to continue his lawsuit against the NCAA, which is, hey, look, I don't blame him. I mean, well, at this point, why wouldn't you, right? Why wouldn't you? If you've spent all this money in the lawsuit, it wasn't just to get a trophy back.
The NCAA needs to just say, what's it going to take to end this?
Right.
And end it. I mean, they've got so many bigger problems, including their existence. But that was really interesting to get his thoughts on defamation is really interesting anyway, but particularly when it intersects with the world of athletics.
Yeah. What Jaguar thought we'll get more to this tomorrow. So
20-0.
Brian Thomas Jr. is wearing number 80. How long does that last?
Well, I mean, now with Zay departing,
does he take 7, or does Parker Washington get 7? What do we do with 7?
Well, maybe.
What do we do with 7?
Well, I think initially it was, Parker Washington will get cut, and then Brian Thomas will get his number. Maybe they're able to work something out before then.
He could offer to pay him. I mean,
he could.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I if I was Parker Washington, I would cash that check.
Right.
but we'll see. We know how athletes are. Some of them with their numbers, it's one of the most important things in their life. So I don't know how Parker Washington feels about his, but certainly the release of Zay Jones was good news for Parker Washington.
If you had a new star, would you just give him the number? Tell the backup sorry? Would you do that? Or
Never.
You wouldn't do it.
I got to get something.
Yeah, you make him buy it.
Dinner or
you make him buy it.
Sunglasses.
I would sort of say, yeah, it's probably better for the chemistry of the locker room if the rookie is willing to do something. It doesn't have to be crazy. I mean, it doesn't have. Was it Kyle Pitts that wanted like $400,000 from Cousins to switch numbers or something?
Did he really?
I think it was something obscene. And Cousins was like,
Cousins
nope,
feels
I'm
very
good.
welcomed there.
Yeah.
I mean, they wanted him to pay for his number.
Yeah.
He's got a quarterback.
Has anybody egged Kirk Cousins' car yet in Atlanta in Flowery Branch? I mean, have we done that yet?
Oh.
Why don't we just slash his tires? I mean,
400,000.
Yeah, it may have been. It was very high. It was certainly well into the six figures. But yeah, I would think if you're Brian Thomas, just be patient. And my guess is that number has a way of opening up for you.
Way back in the day when Florida had a place kicker named John David Francis. Remember John David Francis?
Yeah.
From Stark, Florida. And he was wearing number 5. And the Gators signed Willie McClendon at the University of Christian. You remember that?
Yeah.
And the Gators went to John David Francis. John, you're number 7. That's what happened.
That's awesome.
Willie went by, hey, John David, you're number 7.
He didn't get a dime for it.
He told me, he said, Frank, I think I bequeathed that to Willie. Folks, that's our program. Don't go anywhere, though. Rick Ballou is next. He goes into the night. Right now, we're out of here. Tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.